mostly black men, and they were marginal. I think that the fact that you looked at, there were some House seats that were lost, and I would argue a lot of that was gerrymandered. But they were able to capture the Senate with a tie, where it's now 50-50, and maintain a majority. So I think if the Democrats went and tried to become more conservative or moderate, they would lose the 90% they have. There's a reason why we had record turnout of black voters last year. It's because the Democrats started, because some of us put fire on them, to talk about police reform, to talk about systematic racism and white supremacy. If they dropped that message, they'd be dropping back down in terms of the turnout. And I think that would be a mistake. But thank you for your call. Let's go to Imhotep in Indianapolis, Indiana, WTLC 106.7. Imhotep.
Hello, Reverend. Thank you for taking my call. I'll be brief. I think it's an insult to black people. We had a executive at this station Friday said he had a meeting with the black Republicans in the state of Indiana here, and that he saw the most diverse people in this meeting, and that black people need to be more thoughtful about their vote and giving 90% not holding accountable. And I put that in offense, because I think black people are thoughtful. I think if you go to the doorstep, and which is the Republican Party, and mind you, this black coalition of Republicans here, we have a Republican supermajority in the state legislature, House and Senate, and then the governor. Not one bill could he cite that these black Republicans sent to the state house where the governor signed it that benefited black people. I just think it's disingenuous.
And see, I think Imhotep, 1-877-544-6290, 1-877-544-6290. I think, Imhotep, you raised the issue. When they tell me, as they've said in Indiana and other places, that their room with Republicans are diverse, then why are the policies and laws they come out with not diverse? I don't care about blacks endorsing stuff that don't have nothing to do with us and makes me feel good. That's like, I went to a dinner and everybody was well fed but me. I'm supposed to be happy about that? They're coming out with some right wing, deny us the vote, deny us police reform, deny us having the health care inequities that we have, deny dealing with us having access to capital, deny us dealing with student loans. And I want to know whether it was an integrated group that decided all of that denial. I'm supposed to feel good about that? I agree with you. That does not make sense. And let me tell you something. If you study American history, they've always been able to get some blacks to agree with the other side, thinking they will get some personal advantage. They've always been like that. A friend of mine had me watch this live stream about the Underground Railroad. It's live streamed on one of the live stream things. And I watched it. I when I'm traveling that time on a plane or something, I'd read a lot, but sometimes I say, okay, let me watch this. They downloaded, I watched it. Thing that was amazing, great story about how this sister, I assume it was based on Harriet Tubman and others. They got on the Underground Railroad. They went through risk of life. Some of them were killed, escaping, those that were escaping slavery. But the thing that kept bothering me was that the one that was the slave hunter, the one that would go and capture slaves, that was his job, his profession. He was a slave catcher. His assistant was a little black guy named Homer. And Homer was more concerned and more committed and focused on catching slaves than the slave catcher. And Homer was black. We have too many Homers sitting up in these meetings. That they are more committed in catching those that are fighting and catching those that are standing up for our rights than even the folk in the room. I'm going to quit calling people Uncle Tom, just start calling them Homer. 1-877-544-6290. 1-877-544-6290. Let's go to Whale in New York, WBLS 107.5 FM. Whale.
Good morning, Reverend Sharpton.
Good morning.
Two things I'd like to bring. I also want to thank you for letting that lady speak on your weekly show, your weekday show. She was talking about segregating from the society and having our own courts and everything. You let her speak. You let her get it all out. And I want to say thank you. Even if you don't agree with her, you let her talk.
Right.
So I want to thank you for that part. There's two things, Reverend Sharpton, I'd like to say quickly. Commissioner Dermochet mentioned...
For you around the country, he's talking about New York City Commission. Remember, we're on national. They have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, go ahead.
New York City Commissioner Dermochet had mentioned how City Council gave the okay for these makeshift with the candles and the Hennessy and the reefers on people's stoops and how public housing and all over Manhattan and New York City. The City Council gave the okay. And because I had one time called and I had said it on a different program how in my building, when a young man was killed, they had the candles, the Hennessy, the reefers, took over our building. Okay. I called the PSA, that's the public service areas that they have. And the officer told me when I called, he said, your manager didn't give them the okay to set up. City Council did. So Dermochet just proved what I said. That's the first point I want to make. So when we go voting and all this kind of thing here, we should vote. I've been voting since I was 18. Now, a lot of the ball is in our court already. We talk about the disparities and how we don't have medical facilities and we don't have this and this and this and this. But we don't even... I was in Brooklyn all day yesterday. You can eat off the ground, not just in the Jewish areas or the Italian areas. The whole part of Brooklyn that I was in, near Coney Island and in that area, Avenue U and all this kind of stuff, you can eat off the ground. I'm here in public housing. We have elected officials, what my tenant association president likes to call herself, an elected official. We can't even master or figure out, and it's not rocket science, how to get the garbage from being all in the building and all on the grounds and all this and that. When we come together, the ball is in our court. When you're in the leadership position as resident councils, and I know because I'm a former resident council president, management, I can call the manager, and whatever she's doing, she'll stop doing what she's doing. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I think you're right, and got a lot of calls. I think that we've got to elect people or unelect them if they're not accountable. And that is why there are terms. I think you're absolutely right. It is not rocket science. And we should not allow people to sit in positions that are not going to deliver. It's just that simple. And you're absolutely right, whether it is down in one level or another level, whether you're the President of the United States or the head of a tenant association, you must be accountable. I agree with that. Let me go to Houston, Texas, Magic 102 to D. D, you're on Sunday morning with Al Sharpton.
Good morning, Reverend Al.
Morning.
And yes, you know that 26th Amendment, lowering the voting age from 21 to 18. One of the first states to do it before the federal government did it, the first state to do it before the federal government with the 26th Amendment 50 years ago was Georgia. The state of Georgia. And the second state was Kentucky. And yet today we look at the politics that comes out of these two states. And it's important that we understand we have a rich history, you know, bought and paid for with blood and sacrifice, not with dollars and cents.
Right.
And yet today we have what you call in-group stratification. You know, since 1970, the top black income earners and wealth has been 10% higher than the median wealth. It's the highest among any group, except now the Asians have passed up to what the Asian group has 11% higher, 11 times the wealth of the median of the Asian group. I'm not talking about the poor. Now, we talk about the poor, that's a larger number, and the stratification in the United States amongst blacks would be amongst the largest in the world. And so we have to look at supporting those institutions that has been proven through the time.
Absolutely.
Even bank.
You're correct. Supporting those institutions. I talked about yesterday at the Saturday Action Rally National Action Network. We cannot give up traditions that work for just what's trendy, especially when we don't determine the trend. Let's take a break. Be right back Sunday morning with Al Sharpton. 1-877-544-6290. 1-877-544-6290. Express yourself.
Spread game. Wait, what? It's what the Harlem Globetrotters do best. Basketball wizardry, ankle-breaking moves, jaw-dropping swag, new drip. Do they dunk? Do they dunk? The Globetrotters rattle the rim with soap. Oh yeah, it's time. It's time to laugh so hard that your stomach hurts during the show. Grab the family and get your tickets. The Spread Game Tour is coming. Playing Raleigh and Fayetteville August 1st and 4th. Go to HarlemGlobetrotters.com.
This is an American Red Cross blood donation alert. The Red Cross is facing a severe blood shortage and is urging eligible donors of all types to give now and help avoid delays in life-saving medical care for patients this summer. More donations are needed to replenish the blood supply and help address the extraordinary blood needs of hospitals and patients right now. Be a hero to a patient in need. Use the Blood Donor app. Visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make an appointment to help save lives.
Carry on my wayward son, don't you cry no more.
Carry on, all the way to your locally owned Meineke, your one-stop shop for total car care. Whatever the repair, our technicians are here to get it done. And you can even pay over time with our available financing options. Book online today and get a $24.95 basic oil change. Engine, brakes, tires, oil. Meineke, doing car care right. Valid at participating locations. See store for details. Terms and conditions apply.
You heard you could save big when you bundle home and auto with Progressive, so you went online to check it out. But then you saw a link for a survey about which type of bread you are. And now you're on question 17, barely scratching the surface of your bread identity. You always thought of yourself as a brioche, but are you actually more of a pumpernickel? Ah, yes. They said it was easy to save money bundling with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Pretzels. Look. What, Chips? Look. Who's the new guy? Fanta. I think he's looking at me.
Pretzels, you got it twisted. He's looking at me.
Stop being salty, Chips. We both got a chance. Shh, he's coming over.
Ladies.
Hi.
And hello to you. Back at you, handsome.
Fanta picked beef jerky?
Girl, we're gonna be here a while.
Fanta, the perfect partner to snacking, and it's available at Lowe's Foods. Grab a 2-liter today. Fanta, it's a thing.
This is a big deal. Now at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan of under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. Sign up by August 15th for a health plan. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Attention, if you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out, because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They are experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and will fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-668-8674. 800-668-8674. 800-668-8674.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Families are about closeness and relationships. At WakeMed Primary Care, we're about relationships too. As for closeness, wherever you are, we're there. with convenient locations and hours, virtual appointments, routine care, preventive care, referrals, and more. All provided by someone who knows you, your health, and your family like no one else. To make an appointment, visit wakemed.org.
I'm Joey Griffin, and last year was a record year for Joey Griffin Kia in Rocky Mount. And this year's on track to be even better. I'm doing everything I can to make it happen. Russ?
Joey's right, folks. He's pulling out all the stops to see that everyone who wants a new Kia is going to get one. A new Kia 2022 Kia Sportage has a $1,500 rebate from Kia Motors. Or Kia Motors Finance will give you 0% APR for a full 5 years.
Russ, if a monthly payment is a concern, Kia Finance and I have designed a lease of just $179 per month for 36 months. Folks, I've instructed my sales managers to offer absolute top dollar for your trade-in, even if you have to push it in. So come see me, Joey Griffin, at Joey Griffin Kia, 3249 North Church Street in Rocky Mount, where it's all about you.
Must tax, title, and license. $179 per month lease requires $3,635 cash or trade due and signing. Includes first month payment. No security deposit required. Not all customers will qualify. See the dealership for exact details. Offer ends July 31st, 2021.
Small business owners know cutting costs without cutting quality is tough. How do you trim expenses without hurting your business? Easy. Get Spectrum Business. Call 888-489-2212. Switch to Spectrum Business and you can get the best internet and phone services for half of what you're paying today. Cutting costs can be easy when you get Spectrum Business. Just call 888-489-2212. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? I saw us disregard a broken bottle top and what then so they follow in their know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why no one's got to know.
The man in the mirror, asking him or her to change their ways. That's why we pause for 1 hour every Sunday morning for this unique national broadcast to say we are committed to speak truth to power. We are obligated to hold those with influence accountable. But the one we know we can do something about, the one we know we can shape and mold, is the one we look at in the mirror every day. And we shall work on that person. 1-877-544-6290, 1-877-544-6290, talking about the ongoing fight around voting rights denial, the restrictive laws they are creating and really legislating in many states that we're fighting nationwide. That is why I am saying again, everybody, Lottie, Dottie, and everybody should be in Washington joining Martin Luther King III, Andrea King, and the Drum Major Institute and National Action Network, and myself, August 28th for the National March. We're all doing rallies and marches leading up, but we need one massive show of strength around making the Senate understand we will not tolerate not having the John Lewis Voting Rights Bill passed and Senate Bill 1. We must pass them in order to get the George Floyd bill and to get reparations and other things. So make sure you register right now, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. If you're coming on your own, if you need to get to a bus that we are sponsoring free, all that information, you can get those places. But be there with us. We're also talking about life expectancy of blacks less than whites. New research has come out underscoring that. And this is particularly alarming as we see this Delta variant now causing a uptick in coronavirus findings. We are also talking about that. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go back to Houston, Texas, Magic 102 to Joe. Joe, you're on Sunday morning with Al Sharpton.
So now we need to get our people to vote regardless of where they are and what they're doing, regardless of your financial status. It doesn't matter. African Americans, we need to vote.
You are absolutely right, Joe. Thank you for your call. And, you know, Joe, I talked to State Representative, Texas State Representative Reynolds this morning. He'll be among my guests on Politics Nation this evening at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And he's part of the Texas Democrats that left the state of Texas in their second week, going on their third week, to make sure there wasn't a quorum so that the Republicans who had the majority in the Texas legislature vote these impediments on our right to vote. So I'm glad to hear you say that from Texas, and I'm glad to put him on the show. We must keep highlighting what they're doing in Texas, in Georgia, in Florida, and other places. He'll be one of my guests on the show today, among other guests that we deal with COVID and voting and other issues. 1-877 544-6290, 1-877 544-6290. Let's go to Chris in New York City. Chris?
Yes, good morning, Reverend Sharpton.
Good morning.
I just wanted to come back to a question from a few callers ago, because she asked, you know, with the increased share of the black vote going to Republicans, you know, does that provoke a reassessment? And you suggested that the alternative would be to move to the center, move to the right, and I'm not sure that
I didn't say that at all.
Well, shouldn't we grapple with that fact?
No. Well, why would you say I said something I didn't say? First of all, we can have different opinions. We can have different facts. The fact of the matter is over 90% of blacks did not go to the Republicans. So I don't know if this is some propaganda that people are putting out or being misled. The fact is that 9 out of 10 blacks did not vote Republican. Second of all, I never said go to the right. I said that that is evidence we did not go to the right.
Yes, but I think the point is that more black voters did vote for Trump the second time. More black voters did vote.
More people voted for Trump the second time. Wait a minute. But the overwhelming majority of blacks voted against Trump. So if something is 9 out of 10, what would make you try to go with the 1 rather than look at the 9, unless that's where you were predisposed in the first place?
The question is about the Democratic Party strategy.
No, well, you've done your third question. I was answering the question that you raised.
No, this was the original question that the woman asked, which is, you know, shouldn't the Democratic Party grapple with the shift?
And I answered that. So if this is some propaganda campaign of Republicans, you go get the same answer. If 90% of blacks did not go there, then why would any logic be to go with where the overwhelming majority have already rejected?
It used to be 95%. That 5%.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That is not true. It is not true. It is, you again, we can have different opinions, not different facts. There's been sometimes it was only 85%, sometimes 87%. That's not true. You got the wrong show to come with misinformation. Let's go to Michael in New York, WBLS 107.5. Michael.
Hi, Reverend Al. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Let me correct that last caller, that the overwhelming majority of people voted against Trump. That's why he became a one-term president.
I mean, that's just the facts.
Independents and even Republicans.
And see, let me say this. if you want to argue, the last caller or the lady that he called about, if you want to argue that you think blacks ought to try to go Republican and these are the reasons, say that. But don't try to misconstrue facts like we just sitting up here crazy. Say that. Make your argument. Say why you think we ought to go that way, and we will all decide which way we agree or disagree. But to try to twist numbers like blacks never was always 95% Democrat. They were 90, they were 85. I mean, let's not play game. If I'm going to make an argument, I have fought for causes that were unpopular. I would come and say, this is why I think you ought to be over here, even though it's not popular with you. But I'm not going to come and say, we're growing in popularity. Well, we're not. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, and like you said, come down to facts and simple common sense. Now, the reason why I'm calling, I know it's a national show, but it's something going on here in New York City, I thought, to raise everyone's awareness to check their localities. And that is that the New York City Police Union president, Pat Lynch, has now been forced by a judge to testify in the upcoming Eric Garner trial as to his involvement as well as other top dogs involved in the NYPD in terms of Garner's death, or as many of us are calling it.
Yeah, what has happened is, and we dealt with this at National Action Network yesterday, every Saturday, for you in the New York area, we have our rallies every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice, 145th and Lenox. And Eric Garner's mother was there yesterday, as she is there every week. And there's been a court decision saying that the top brass of the police department will have to testify in the ongoing civil suit that the